What's up guys, Gary here, back with another quick video. This time we're going to talk about speaking at conferences just for a second, because for a lot of designers, engineers, right, conferences are something fun, informative learning that we get to go to, at least when our companies pay for them or when we choose to fork out for it ourselves. But here's the question: is if in your design or development career, right, if in your career you are looking for what's a good next step, how do you grow, how do you keep pushing yourself to expand your reach, what can you do? Speaking at conferences is one of those kind of logical steps that a lot of people will take or look into, or even if they don't look into, they have the thought, right? So let's talk about it for a sec. So far I've spoken at two different conferences. One it was That Conference. It's actually the name of it, That Conference. It was awesome. Absolutely recommend it. The other one was Midwest UX 2019. Both of them about the same topic of burning out and how to deal with it. So I've got those online now. I'll try to link them in the description here if you want to look at, watch them, see any of the content. But the idea is, I want to explain a little bit of how did I get into speaking at the conferences, what did I do, what steps it took, and then how did it go. So how do you get into speaking at conferences? Few different ways. Some conferences are invite only. Some conferences, most I would say actually, have a call for speakers at some point. So if there's a conference you go to or you know of, look it up. And if you look at, usually it's like 9 months in advance, they have a call for speakers where you can submit a proposal with a title, a brief like paragraph, and then a longer section of what you want to talk about. And this is where you need to sell the idea. So for me, I was thinking about, and I was going through a period that we'll talk about more about being burned out, right? There was a lot of stuff going on. And so over a year ago, I started this kind of journey of self-improvement, if you will, taking steps. And then when it came time, one of my goals in my career that I worked with my manager on at the time actually was speaking at conferences and not just going as a participant. So I found a couple and submitted this idea, and I tried to make the title catchy, burning out and how to deal with it. So I wanted to frame a problem and then hint at the solution in the title, right, to hook people in. And then a paragraph I just wrote about how, burning out is a struggle that, if you look at the statistics, it's like 2/3 of people are going to deal with. Like, it's crazy. The amount is 66% of people will deal with burnout at some point. So that's what I did. I submitted it. And then after a little while, both the conferences got back to me saying that I was selected as one of the speakers. So, sent out an agenda, had to figure out travel. Then the actual real work came, because at this point, right, I didn't have a presentation. I just had an idea. Research, planning, practice, all the stuff. We've done it before. If people are interested, I'll show kind of how I put together presentations. But either way, put together my presentation, got my deck ready, had a whole bunch of ideas going into it. I try to tie things to tangible points. Like when I give a bullet point, I try to have something tangible that people can then go to further than the talk. So a book or an article or something that they can take away and dig more into themselves. So then conference time comes. The first one, That Conference, nervous as heck. I almost always get nervous before presentations, client or otherwise. Get up, do the presentation. It went really well. Got a lot of good feedback from people. And it was crazy because burning out is such a personal topic, and yet people were kind of opening up and sharing how it resonated, right? It was something that it struck home. So that was That Conference. Then the next one, Midwest UX, went to. It was shorter length for the talk, so trimmed some content, different type of venue, right, stuff like that. And honestly, after That Conference, I didn't have a whole lot of questions afterwards, right? Public Q&A. Some people came up to me. But at Midwest, we had like almost a 15-minute, it felt like, question and answer period afterwards, where people just kept asking questions. And I'm by no means an expert or a psychologist, but I am somebody who's dealt with it. So I was able to share my personal experience and where I'm at. So that was really cool. So circling back to the speaking at conferences, one, it's not hard. You don't have to be an expert, right? You just have to be curious and then do the work to research it. And then two, it's you have to do the legwork to actually get yourself out there and submit to these things, and you're going to get rejected. I've gotten rejected from a bunch. But once you start finding a niche with a topic that seems to resonate, just run with it. So that's kind of my thought. Even if you are a junior person, don't hold yourself back just because you think you're not there yet or you don't have enough credibility, right? Putting together a conference gives you credibility. Putting together a presentation gives you credibility if your idea is sound, and then do the research, put the time in to make it actually engaging, and go with it. So that's what we got. As you can see, this is a new space. Not perfectly clean yet, but this is my new office. Moved to a new house. That's one of the life changes that's going on. But yeah, that's all we got for you. So we'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.